Very, very well. He'll do a good job again this afternoon on the Wide World of Sports. Here's John Russell.
Thank you very much indeed, Ray Warren, and welcome to viewers to Wide World of Sports, looking for the big race of the day here. That's the 1989 WS Cox Plate, a huge crowd here assembled for the running of the big event, and most of the field set heavy backing for El Murad. Now Apollo Run is about to go in. Apollo Run to move up to the outside. We'll soon have them ready to go. Heavy backing for El Murad, drawn the inside stall, Riverina Charm. Empire Rose is set. Two oldest horses in the field, drawn in 1 and 3, El Murad, Empire Rose. Apollo Run completes the line. Vo Rogue, 2 from the outside, the champion Queenslander. So they're all set to go. Standing by for a start, waiting for the light to go on. Tristan, the 3-year-old filly from the Cummings stable, heavily backed. And they'll be on their way. They're off. Great start in the Cox Plate. El Murad, one of the first to jump out towards the inside. Courtsa got away very fast, and so also did the Phantom. Procol Harum showing speeder. And from the extreme outside, Stylish Century is going fast to head them off as they come down the straight to pass the judge. And Stylish Century has taken the leader. Going out of the straight about 2 lengths. The Phantom on the inside of Tristan racing 3 deeper. In the centre of that pair, Procol Harum, 1.5 lengths back along the inside to El Murad. He was followed by Courtsa. Over on the outside about 3 deep as Vo Rogue as they head down the side. They were being followed by Vitalik on the outside of King's High, and over on the rails behind them, Riverina Charmer. 2 lengths further back is our Westminster, 1.5 lengths into Zabeel, who's third last. 2 lengths to Empire Rosa, and last of all was Apollo Run going around the bottom turn. 1,250 metres left to go. Stylish Century is the leader, about 2 lengths the Phantom, and there goes Vo Rogue on the outside. Procol Harum fourth, 1.5 lengths to El Murad, getting a nice run on the inside of Courtsa as they go round the back section of the track. They're closely followed by Tristan, who's racing 3 deep, 1.5 lengths. Riverina Charmer out the 3 off the fences. Vitalik followed by King's High. 2 lengths to our Westminster. 3 lengths away, well back is the 3-year-old Zabeel, followed by Empire Rose and Apollo Runners last of all as they run down with just over 800 metres left to go. Stylish Century by 1.5 lengths the Phantom. A half length away on the outside to Vo Rogue, followed by Procol Harum. On the inside, El Murad starting to make his run, and he was followed next over on the outside by Tristan. Right off the track is Vitalik, followed by Courtsa, being very hard ridden. King's High behind them, Riverina Charmer. Then our Westminster, a long gap to Empire Rose, Apollo Run and Zabeel as they come up towards the home turn. 450 metres left to go, and Stylish Century is nicely clear. About 2 lengths to El Murad, who's now second. A half length away, being hard ridden Tristan. Vitalik running on. Our Westminster is back behind them, well back as the Phantom as they make the home turn. Stylish Century in front with 200 metres left to go. Here comes El Murad down the outside. Wider on the track, our Westminster. Stylish Century being tackled by El Murad, who's coming at it. Stylish Century on the inside, and El Murad on the outside. Stylish Century and El Murad by a long head in the Cox Plate. 4 lengths away, then maybe Empire Rose or our Westminster, not much between them. They're followed by Riverina Charm right on the heels, and then came King's High, followed next home by Apollo Run, and further away is Tristan, followed by Vitalik, Courtsa, Procol Harum. Vo Rogue's a long way back, and well back to the Phantom, and last of all is Zabeel.
Oh, what a great performance by the Melbourne Cup favourite, El Murad, as he inch by inch took ground off Stylish Century. A bold front-running performance under the guidance of Kevin Moses, but Michael Clark has brought the Colin Hayes stayer down the outside, and Sheikh Hamdan bin Rashid Al, he'll be absolutely behind himself, the Sheikh Maktoum, taking out the Cox Plate with El Murad, and I won't be at all surprised if this wonderful overseas stallion goes on to take out the big 2-miler at Flemington on Tuesday week. This has been stamped with class, this win by El Murad. Keeping in mind he won the Caulfield Stakes under weight for age conditions in similar circumstances to today, I suppose, showing a hell of a lot of fight, a lot of guts. He can sit off the pace, and then he just absolutely grinds home, and he frustrates his opponents out of the victory prize money as he lunges out and takes it himself. This is a marvellous animal. I spent some time telling you Colin Hayes had made the comment that El Murad might well be the greatest stayer he's ever prepared, and I said don't take it lightly, because those horses that he has prepared included At Tallack and Belldale Ball, but more importantly Dulcify. Michael Clark takes out the Cox Plate on El Murad. Stylish Century I thought was going to last, with Kevin Moses doing all he could to lead all the way. Vo Rogue, of course, was always out 3 wide, 4 wide, and it was no surprise to see the Rogue weaken out of it in the final analysis. I'm just looking for third number to go into the frame. I'm having trouble from up here on the southern hill. Empire Rose, somebody is telling me, may in fact have got third, but it is a photo apparently for the minor end of the prize. But Almarad, a marvellous win and a horse that you can certainly expect to go to Flemington, and if he carries your money, you'll get a sensational run on next Tuesday week. Well, that's all from Moonee Valley as far as the Cox Plate is concerned. He's the horse you should be on the Cup, Kenny, my boy, Almarad.
Hindsight is so beautiful, Ray, no doubt about it. OK, don't get out of the saddle just yet because...
Yes, good morning. One of the biggest racing days of the year yesterday, WS Cox Plate Day at Moonee Valley. Almost 30,000 people there for the big day. One absentee was your regular host, Bill Collins. He's in hospital with a broken arm, but Roy Higgins, I imagine that Bill had one arm free to dial his telephone betting account.
You can be assured of that with Bill. We wish to send him our best wishes because he's broke his arm up very high, and we haven't had any late reports on it, but he sounded good on DB yesterday morning, so I think he was ready for a big day.
Yeah, give us a wave, Bill.
Roy, big day out there yesterday, Keith.
Oh, sure, and what a fabulous win by Almarad. Of course, we'll come to that very soon. But the day started with the 2-year-olds, and Flash Fighter was a very heavily backed favourite in the first.
And King starting to swing. Coming at them. High Bailiff on the outside after Fendleton. Then From the Planet getting off the fence, followed by Eastern Classic. Here's a go, 100 out. Fendleton just in front. High Bailiff and on the inside From the Planet. Fendleton hanging on though, and Fendleton's won the money. A boil over. High Bailiff is second. Acid Print just got third from the Planet. Akatarawar, and then Don't.
Well, there's the first or the second surprise of the racing day because that was Fendleton's win in race 4. Fendleton, of course. The Bolter 66 to 1, and have a look at some of the divvies there. The Quinella paid $296.10. The Trifecta more than 12,000, and Roy Higgins, that bombed everyone in race 3, but she missed a place. See if you can pick the winner in this tight photo.
Good Old Ted's got the favourite right off the bit at the moment. Good Old Ted about 3/4 in front of Scarlet Visk. Clay Hero getting to third and running on pretty well from Lonely Dreamer and Prismatic Star. Good Old Ted, I think, has got the upper hand over Scarlet Visk. Now Clay Hero gets out, goes after Good Old Ted, 150 to go. Good Old Ted in front, Clay Hero running it down with every stride. Good Old Ted just in front of Clay Hero, Prismatic Star. Clay Hero lunging. Oh, I reckon he might have got up. Clay Hero, I think, has grabbed Good Old Ted to win a great
Well, the
finish.
judge couldn't separate them. Clay Hero and Good Old Ted dead heating after the third. And Scarlet Visk, Roy, she was very disappointing. It was her track and her distance.
Yes, everything prior to the race certainly looked good with her. As you say, 1,000 metres round Moonee Valley. She's a speed filly. She begun like lightning, but it was immediately taken on by Good Old Ted, and she punctured pretty quick. Disappointing, I thought. Probably another stride. We may have had a triple dead heat with Prismatic Star.
We might have too. Yes, well, Fendleton won the fourth at big odds. The fifth.
Followed by Lamarck and Kirkside at Stargazer, the front runner. 300 to run. Zemoff's under pressure, but closing 2 to Super Trend and Submariner. They're followed by Heavy Harry. The favourites turn at the 200 together. Stargazer leads a half length, but Zemoff on the outside about to claim him, followed by Super Trend. Zemoff on the outside moved up the joint. Stargazer 150 out. They're well clear of Kirkside as Zemoff puts his head in front. Stargazer fighting back, but Zemoff, confidently ridden by Cassidy, draws on, and Zemoff wins by a length of a quarter. Stargazer.
Zemoff, the even money favourite, and Roy Higgins, were we looking at the Derby winner there?
Oh, it's starting to read that way, Keith. He's an impressive horse. He's a strong horse. He should have won the Caulfield Guineas, and that was a strong win. Yes, he'll start a short price favourite in the Derby. Now is Zabeel off the scene.
OK, Moonee Valley Cup was next, and it was won by an apprentice jockey.
Up to steering on the bend. Terrific further out, and here's Citizen coming with a great run. Citizen out 4 and 5 wide, running on very quickly, and Cosine trying to get out in the straight, and Citizen wide out now, raced up and hit the lead. Citizen took the lead now from Terrific. Cosine gets out late, but Citizen gets a winning break, I'd say, with about 80 metres to go. Cosine getting home hard, but Citizen wins the Moonee Valley Cup. Citizen wins 3/4 Cosine. Third is Terrific.
Citizen at 5 to 1 equal favourite with the unplaced Stirring, and the last was won by Echo Lass at 8 to 1, and that gave Lance O'Sullivan minor consolation for the very major disappointment of missing in the Cox Plate with the great mare Horlicks. Well, yesterday's Cox Plate aside, the other big news in racing circles this week was the announcement that Colin Hayes would hand in his trainer's licence at the end of the season, and that, of course, would leave his son David to take over. There's no doubt Australian racing will be poorer for that decision.
65-year-old Colin Hayes is the most respected man in Australian racing. He holds training records that have never been bettered anywhere in the world. His horses have brought home more than $37 million in stake money, and not surprisingly, he's trained more winners than any other man in this country. Yet he says his decision to hand the reins over to youngest son David was easy.
Primarily, I think that David is ready, and I've always said the future belongs to those who plan for it, and I feel that I can be in a supportive role still, and while I'm still well enough to help him and guide him if he needs it.
This block of flats in the Adelaide beachside suburb of Semaphore Park now occupies the spot where it all started for Colin Hayes. But in 45 years, he's gone a long way. After starting with just one horse and no racing background, the Hayes empire now operates from one of the best thoroughbred properties in the world. When Colin Hayes decided to shift an already successful training establishment away from the city here to Lindsay Park Stud in South Australia's Barossa Valley, there were many experts who said he was making a big mistake. But then again, Colin Hayes has been proving people wrong throughout his career. In an industry which in many ways has been guilty of ignoring progress, Hayes has been an innovator.
Often we tend to do things as our grandfather did, and that's not necessarily right. And I just had a great love for the animal and a great love for racing.
Colin Hayes may have had influential owners to buy in the right horses, but one man can't train more than 5,000 winners unless he's doing something right.
It's intuition, really, I think. I think that you notice changes in behaviour pattern, perhaps expression changes in the eyes and things like that, that unless you have that, unless you're perceptive and understand that and know why, and I don't know why I know it, but I can often see things in a horse's head that other people don't see.
Jim Courtney has ridden more than 1,000 winners for Hayes in a 20-year association that he'll never forget.
It sort of won't hit until towards the end of the season. I think then there'll be a bit of sadness creeping in, yes.
Colin Hayes' retirement at stately Lindsay Park Stud is well deserved. He hasn't had a holiday since doctors ordered him away for a short break after his second heart operation 7 years ago. There will perhaps never be a better trainer than Hayes, but for the contenders, he has just one piece of advice.
I think for the aspiring trainer, there's no degrees of honesty. You're honest or dishonest. And if you stay honest and treat your clients as they would treat you, I think there's plenty of room for everybody in the business.
John Casey for Sports World.
Yes, and that report from our friends at SAS Adelaide, and Roy Higgins, he will be sadly missed, Colin Hayes, but that's some time off yet, the end of the season.
I don't think you'll get Colin off the scene very easily, even though David might take over the reins. I think Colin will be right there for a few years.